Date 2. I told my husband to stop grabbing me every time I walked by. Just once, I asked to be treated like a person instead of a fantasy. That was 6 months ago. Since then, he hasn't kissed me, touched me, or even looked at me like he used to. And now he says he's leaving. Because I ruined how he loved me. A business trip to Dallas for a week. Usually, trips like this involved lots of texting throughout the day, phone calls before bed, both of us missing each other, and looking forward to reconnecting when he got back. But this time felt completely different. Robert seemed almost relieved to be going. And honestly, I was kind of relieved, too, which should have been a huge red flag. The week he was gone passed in this strange blur. I barely heard from him except for a few basic check-in texts about his flight and hotel. No missing you messages, no complaints about being apart, no countdown to coming home. It was like he was just living his life without me in it. And I was doing the same thing. For the first time in 7 years, we were both completely fine being separated. When Robert came back from Dallas, something fundamental had changed about him. He wasn't cold or angry, but there was this distance in his eyes that hadn't been there before. He unpacked methodically, answered my questions about the trip politely, and went to bed early, claiming he was exhausted from travel. The next day, he disappeared for most of the afternoon, saying he had errands to run. Sunday evening, Robert asked if we could talk, and my stomach immediately dropped because I could tell from his tone that this wasn't going to be a casual conversation. He sat down across from me at our kitchen table with this serious expression that made me want to run away and hide somewhere. I did a lot of thinking while I was in Dallas, he started, and I felt defensive before he even finished the sentence. About us, about our relationship, about what we both want and need from each other. He paused like he was choosing his words really carefully. I don't think we're compatible anymore. The words felt like a physical blow, but I tried to stay calm and rational. What do you mean we're not compatible? I asked. We've been together for 7 years. We've always been compatible. But even as I said it, I knew it sounded desperate and weak. Robert shook his head slowly. We were compatible, he said. But somewhere along the way, we stopped wanting the same things from this relationship. I want to be with someone who appreciates how I show love instead of finding it disgusting. I want to be with someone who makes me feel desired instead of making me feel like a creep for being attracted to my own wife. I started to interrupt to explain that I didn't mean it the way it had come out. But Robert held up his hand to stop me. Let me finish, he said. And there was something in his voice that made me shut up completely. This week in Dallas, I went to a conference mixer and there was a woman there who was flirting with me, he continued. And I felt my blood pressure spike immediately. Nothing happened, he added quickly. But for the first time in months, I felt like someone actually wanted me around. She laughed at my jokes, seemed interested in what I had to say, made me feel attractive and fun and worth talking to. So, you're leaving me for some random girl you met at a conference? I snapped, but Robert shook his head again. I'm not leaving you for her, he said. I'm leaving because being around her for one evening made me realize how absolutely miserable I've been for the past 6 months. I'm leaving because I remembered what it feels like to be appreciated instead of just tolerated. I'm leaving because I want to be with someone who actually wants to be with me. I felt like the ground was disappearing under my feet. I do want to be with you, I said, but it sounded hollow even to my own ears. I just needed you to respect some basic boundaries. I needed you to see me as more than just a sex object. But that's the thing, Robert said. And for the first time, he sounded angry instead of just sad. I never saw you as just a sex object. I saw you as the most beautiful, amazing woman in the world. And I wanted to show you that every single day. But you turned my love into something dirty and wrong. And now I can't even touch my own wife without feeling like some kind of predator. The accusation stung because there was truth in it. But I wasn't about to admit that to him. I just wanted some balance, I said defensively. I wanted to feel like you valued my mind and my personality, not just my body. When have I ever given you any indication that I didn't value your mind? Robert shot back. When have I ever treated you like you were just a body? Yes, I found you physically attractive and I expressed that attraction, but that doesn't mean I didn't see you as a complete person. I wanted to argue with him to list all the times he'd made inappropriate comments or grabbed me when I didn't want to be touched, but suddenly I couldn't think of any specific examples that actually supported my point. Had Robert really been objectifying me, or had I just been uncomfortable with how intensely he desired me? The bottom line is that we want completely different things now, Robert continued. You want a relationship where physical attraction takes a backseat to emotional connection. I want a relationship where I can express my attraction without being made to feel ashamed of it. Neither of us is wrong, but we're definitely not right for each other anymore. I started panicking as I realized he was completely serious about this. We can work on it, I said quickly. We can go to counseling. We can find a compromise that works for both of us. But Robert was already shaking his head before I finished talking. I'm not interested in working on it anymore, he said, and his voice was quiet but absolutely final. I'm tired of walking on eggshells in my own home. I'm tired of feeling rejected and unwanted by the person who's supposed to love me most. I'm tired of having to suppress who I am just to make you comfortable. So that's it? I asked, and I could hear my voice getting shrill and desperate. 7 years together and you're just giving up because some girl at a conference made you feel good about yourself. 7 years together and you gave up the moment I told you my attraction to you was disgusting, Robert replied. And that completely shut me up because he was right. I had given up. I decided his way of showing love was wrong instead of trying to find a way to make it work for both of us. The next few weeks were a nightmare of tense conversations, heated arguments, and Robert's increasing emotional unavailability. I tried everything I could think of to change his mind. I offered to go to counseling, promised to be more affectionate, even suggested we take a vacation to reconnect and start over. But Robert remained completely unmoved by all of it. It's too late for that, he kept saying whenever I suggested ways to fix our problems. You can't take back what you said. You can't undo the past 6 months. And honestly, I don't want to go back to wondering if every kiss or touch is going to be criticized or labeled as inappropriate.